What is going on, guys? Welcome to Nest. And today we're going to dive into the latest trailer entitled Second Trailer for Resident Evil 9 Requiem, released the other day on the official Resident Evil YouTube channel. And there's a lot to unpack.
Welcome to Nest. Enjoy your visit.
We are finally given footage captured on PC for the first time ever as seen in this trailer. We've also gotten confirmation that Nintendo Switch 2 gamers will be able to play Requiem likewise. So let's get into this trailer analysis video, but before we do, if you are new here, just consider leaving me a subscribe, I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us on out into that YouTube algorithm. The trailer opens up with a phone call blaring. This is the same phone call as featured in the exclusive look at Gamescom 3 weeks ago. During this ringing, we pan through some environments of the Remwood Hotel, a shot of a chandelier, a long dark hallway, or a shot of room 204. We fade into a desk with a lamp and a black leather notebook. This notebook is filled with secret documents being held together by paper clips. After this point, it turns into recycled footage from Gamescom's exclusive look. So I'll be skipping over that since I've already previously talked about it in this video right here. Fast forwarding to the present, we see this new city. This city is currently a regular city. The only stain of darkness they currently have is this city resides home to the ruins of the Remwood Hotel, as it was never torn down. We don't see the name of the city as of yet. As you can see, we have people walking on the sidewalk in the rain, cars driving by, and many restaurants on the block like Delicious or Delicious or Grill 14, a restaurant diner. I'm thinking that this city will be treated similarly to the vein that Tall Oaks fell upon. Tall Oaks, the beginning setting of Resident Evil 6, fell victim to an assassination and a viral outbreak of the C virus. So I'm thinking we'll be seeing something like that unfold here. We can see new protagonist, Grace Ashcroft, walking down the sidewalk in her brown leather jacket, grasping her backpack. Soon after, we meet up with this police officer asking, "Oh, you're FBI? Investigating all these strange deaths, huh?" So this is the first steps of Grace's mission we finally see. The Remwood Hotel, in the modern day, is covered in blue tarps, police do not cross yellow tape, and I believe this poster on the wall we've seen before in the first trailer. Grace begins her investigation opening up this rusty and disgusting door, and it appears that the officer from earlier won't be accompanying her, only serving as a guard for the FBI agent on duty. Looking around with her flashlight, we're met with a sight of various crime scenes with yellow tape, and stage of event numbers. Everything in here is dirty, muddy, burnt, and clearly haven't been touched for several years. Seeing this mess invokes a flashback in Grace's mind, hallucinating her deceased mother, Alyssa, recalling that traumatized moment she went through as a teenager. Basically, several years back when Alyssa and Grace were living at this very hotel, everything turned to shit after the blackout. The hooded man, whether the main antagonist in disguise or a hired mercenary, came to the hotel to murder the residents of the Remwood Hotel, including current journalist Alyssa Ashcroft at the time. And with the succession of such, Grace is being forced to investigate the deaths that have occurred there all this time later. Alyssa, in life, had told her daughter, Grace, that she had explained this all to her one day. And as we know, she didn't live long enough to tell the tale. But if you truly believe that, I'd hold my breath, because this trailer does showcase something interesting when it comes to that. And this is it right here. So it appears that at one point, Alyssa had hid either a folder, binder, briefcase, or bag behind this painting. It is unclear what was inside that item, but it can be assumed that the notebook we saw earlier contains detailed documents involving what she needed Grace to know. It's clear she couldn't and didn't want to tell Grace when she was a teenager. In that case, she left clues around the hotel for Grace to find in the future. Alyssa knew all of this would happen. She knew Grace would return here. She knew she was going to die that very night. Swinging it back to the present time, Grace is looking at that exact painting that she recalls her mom fiddling with, and rummaging behind it, she does indeed locate that very binder or whatever her mother had left all those years ago, seemingly untouched or untampered with. But we can't say that for certain unless she dusts or scans this article for fingerprints that don't match her mother's or her own. But upon finding this sensitive information, there's conveniently someone inside with her that might be looking for that information as well. Grace hears a noise and raises her pistol towards the noise. Cutting to black, we hear the main antagonist of the game. "I've been watching you."
I've been watching you.
The trailer then switches over to a brand new location. Here we have the most fancy looking mansion, city hall, or governmental building. Whatever it is though, goddamn dude, this place looks regal as heck. And much like previous important buildings in the franchise, they all had secret underground facilities underneath. Whether it's the Arclay Mansion, Raccoon City Police Department, or even Spencer Memorial Hospital. But either way, we presumably have Grace pulling up in a car outside the building. The antagonist continues, "You're not like other people, you know? You're quite unique."
You're not like other people, you know. You're quite unique.
We've all seen this lobby area before. It has a similar setup to the front desk area of the Raccoon City Police Department. As you can see, this is a receptionist desk with a lamp, service bell, monitors, and possibly a typewriter on the left. If not, that's likely a telephone. I can't tell at this angle. I have reason to believe that, as mentioned earlier, that this building has a secret facility underneath. I believe that laboratory from the Gamescom gameplay demo featured there is hidden underneath here, and we know that because this neighboring scene contains Grace in her white shirt, the shirt she wore during the gameplay demo. We get another shot of the main antagonist, very on point with the first trailer's first look at him. This time, only one small difference. Almost unnoticeable. If you look at the desk next to the phonograph, is this pair of various lensed goggles. Keep this detail in mind because this will be very important. It's unclear what this gear actually is, whether mechanical goggles or night vision goggles similar to Chris Redfield's featured in Resident Evil 8 Village, but I have reason to suspect that these are actual doctor's examination goggles. I'll explain later why. Venturing deeper inside this abandoned building, Grace eventually finds a photograph of herself as a teenager. So this is very strange. Either the main antagonist this entire time needed an Ashcroft for whatever evil purpose, or Grace in particular because it's told that she's unique. Or the main antagonist has took screenshots while watching the Gamescom event. Yeah, I'm gonna guess that last one.
Hello?
Miss Ashcroft?
Yes.
There I am, Gary, there I am.
Miss Ashcroft?
We hear some dialogue from the past between Grace and Alyssa asking her mom, "Tell me what's going on."
Tell me what's going on.
To where Alyssa replies, "Something important."
Something important.
And literally leaves it at that. Oh my goodness. I assume she firmly believes Grace will be able to figure it out in the future, as Grace is quite literally her hope. I think Alyssa didn't want to say anything important out loud, because she knew she was going to die that night, and the hooded man was clearly following them the whole time. That's what a good journalist does. They don't let the information go to evil sources. I wish we could say that for journalists today. We see more of the underground laboratory featuring the isolation ward. This is presumably the layer that Grace has awakened, tied up upside down with her blood being drawn. The cutscene we saw from the Gamescom playable demo. And speaking of that demo, we saw a hole in the ceiling left by that monster, and like clockwork, we see another gaping hole here. We get a bit of gameplay in this area with this dark hall, with a door and a boarded up threshold, followed by a lightning strike revealing this figure walking by visible through the glass. We get to see a nice close-up shot of the hooded man, and as you can see, his skin is all decaying and almost has a melted appearance to it. Onward, we have Grace walking down this environment seen before in the game's COM demo, but this time we have the monster breaking through a door. The only confirmed gun in Requiem is currently known as Grace's pistol, but finally we are introduced to another weapon. It appears that this is somewhere after the Gamescom demo events ends. Grace has stumbled upon a Desert Eagle or Lightning Hawk styled magnum, so it'll be interesting to see how a petite woman like Grace would handle a firearm like this. Up next we have a shot of Grace crouching behind some boxes hiding from the monster lurking around the lab. Now, this shot makes me very curious. Obviously, we have a lantern fallen over, burning the carpet, there's a knocked over table by it, and a corpse too. The question stands, does this take place during the past or present? Who conducted this fire and why? There's a chance this scene is from the past, since it's been seen that the Remwood Hotel has traces of burn marks and fire damage. Check this out, the main antagonist of the game is getting up from his chair! This guy's not a gamer. Still as mysterious as ever. This is a scene that comes prior to having those doctor examination goggles on the side table. So this is more familiar with trailer number 1. Still not a gamer though. Just when you thought we wouldn't see any more enemies. Oh no, there's more. Great! So right here we have Grace staring up at this being separated from it by glass. This angle doesn't really help identify this being whatsoever, but this shot here does. So here we can see how this being moves around. It's a long-haired woman donning a white gown or trench coat. I'm almost wondering if this will end up being a zombified or mutated Alyssa. I feel like the hairstyle is similar, just a tad longer, mixed with the facial expression Grace was seen giving this being. I can also see a similar scenario to Rosemary Winter's duplicates, as seen in Resident Evil 8 Village's DLC, Shadows of Rose. Like, could this be some sort of crazy duplicate of Grace generated with her blood? I don't know, just a thought. Much like the white outfit we saw on her, this character here has a black one. Whoever this is, she appears to be mentally unstable while banging her head on the mirror in this washroom repetitively. Man, wouldn't it be the poor sap who dumped her?
The truth is,
I missed the part where that's my problem.
Or maybe she's rocking out. We don't know much about the virus that'll present itself in this game, but there's a chance this is a peek at it. So we have a shirtless test subject laying here, focusing on his arm. If you recall, this arm appears similar to the photos on Grace's investigation summary report. The exact same skin condition. Over here we have Grace crying for her unfortunately now murdered mother in the past. It's safe to assume that fire we talked about earlier did indeed take place in the past, especially seeing the flames rise behind Grace and the corpse of Alyssa. We've got a very scary shot of the monster crawling on the wall, so that'll be very terrifying if that suddenly appears during gameplay. So this is interesting. Here, it is made apparent that Umbrella will be making its return in some way, shape, or form. I've heard some people suggest that the main antagonist's voice sounds similar to either Osmond Saddler from Resident Evil 4 Remake, or even Oswald Spencer from Resident Evil 5. There's also been theories circulating for months that this very well may be a Walt Disney-esque clone of Oswell, which I could sort of see. But there's a catch. Both of the characters this guy sounds like have the exact same initials. OS. Either way, there's a good chance Grace will stumble upon something Umbrella related, much like Ethan Winters stumbling upon Umbrella's origins in that cave. Or maybe even Grace will simply stumble upon the logo, similar to Chris Redfield and Sheva Alomar, uncovering a piece of Umbrella's equipment connected to what's known as the Stairway to the Sun. The trailer begins to wrap up with the antagonist ominously saying, "There's no escaping your destiny." That's my impression.
There's no escaping your destiny.
While she's staring down this doorway holding her newly found magnum in her right hand. After the logo animates onto the screen, we get a short look at this never-been-seen-before character. It's this balding man with a wide frame, golden teeth, a similar skin condition to the hooded man, and he's wearing those doctor goggles as seen on the table. Could this be the hooded man? Could this be the main antagonist? Or, hear me out, I have a different theory. So you know how it was mentioned in Resident Evil 8 Village, the BSAA were experimenting with bioweapons as soldiers?
BSAA didn't send soldiers. This is a bioweapon.
The hell were they thinking?
They cloned their best soldier, Captain Redfield. I have a hunch that sample corpse Hound Wolf Squad picked up. This is one of them. I might dedicate a theory video in the future to dive deeper in my theory. But either way, I do wonder if this man is the guy that's underground who's tied up Grace in the laboratory. Because there's somebody else down there aside from Grace and the monster. It makes sense to me, especially since he's wearing the goggles. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope you did enjoy, and if you did, just consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, tell me what you thought. What are your thoughts on this trailer, and which trailer so far has been your favorite? And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.